The three of us were basically inseparable growing up because of our ages being so close together and the fact that we were all girls under the same household. Old-fashioned favoring the boys who can do no wrong was a common experience for us. We were thick as thieves as a result of this, and we rarely went out without another when it came to going out to play. Our home was across from the elementary school we all attended, and sometimes we would play there when the school was closed. This was a time before schools were constantly locked up. But other times we would walk to the nearby park to play, since this was also a time where you could go almost anywhere unsupervised, and if you had a more neglectful family, especially so. The park wasn't too far from where we lived, so it was a quick walk for all of us, worth the time it took to be able to climb on the playset and enjoy the park's other recreational objects. I don't remember what we were talking about at the time, but we weren't far from the park when this person in a car pulled up to us. None of us had seen her before, so when she claimed to know our grandma, it threw us off. She said she lived not far from us and offered us a ride home. But in our guts, I think we all realized something wasn't quite right, despite not being the most socially aware kids. We refused, but despite the refusal, she kept insisting, saying that our grandma was worried about us, that she needed us home and all that. We continued to say no to her, and despite continuing to ask, we could hear the growing frustration in her voice. I don't remember too much from here, but the school was right behind us as it was a fairly big school, with multiple sections and buildings spanning behind a metal fence. We all knew we needed to get away from her somehow, so we started keeping an eye out for something that would help put some distance between us and her. And what popped up? A gate to the school, practically indistinguishable from the fencing aside from the hinges and some metal chains used when they would actually lock it. And thankfully for us, this wasn't one of those times. We opened the gate as quickly as possible and ran inside, slamming it behind us in case she decided to give chase, and ran as fast as we could across school grounds. We only stopped when we were on the opposite side of school and hid in the school bathrooms as we waited patiently and fearfully to see if she had followed us. It felt like hours before we felt it was safe enough for us to come out, and yet it was probably 20 minutes at most. Eventually, we got up the burb to peek out of our stall just to be sure she wasn't quietly waiting for us to show ourselves, and a huge wave of relief came over us as we saw the completely empty bathroom before us. Before long, we decided heading home was the best option for us since we didn't need that lady to show up again. We were a bit upset about not having gotten to play at the park like we planned, but that wasn't something some video games and snacks couldn't fix. I honestly wonder at the time if we had truly comprehended the situation we had been in, but as kids, I suppose we didn't think about it too much, never even telling our moms or anyone else in the family about our experience. I also only realized recently that she had offered us a ride home, and yet her car was going in the opposite direction of our house, towards the park we were heading to. So she would have had to make a U-turn on a street where U-turns were illegal, and I doubt she would risk getting in trouble with the law just to get us home because our grandma was worried. Some details are a bit fuzzy as I am an adult now, and it was so long ago, but this memory has been in my head all these years. And despite the love of my life confirming this was not a normal experience, I can't help but feel like I truly misread the situation. Thank you for taking the time to read my post, and everyone have a good day, night, and stay safe.